Hi class, we don't have a lecture topic for this week. I'm going to walk through the rather large Excel Module 3 training. I know we have the other options available to us, but I don't feel there's any value in me not at least lecturing something to you in a week. So we're going to take care of this. And rest assured, we're going to change the due dates for all our assignments from week 1 to now because a good percentage of us still don't have our books through Knight's Book Pass. So let's get started. We're going to start by rotating cell content. So we're going to click A3 through D3. We're going to right click and go to Format Cells, to Alignment, and where it says Orientation we have this slider. I'm just going to type 45 degrees and hit OK. Our next task is to align cells vertically, so we're going to go in that same menu. So we want B4 this time. I'm going to explode it here so you can see another way to get to that menu. And under vertical text alignment, from top, I'm going to change to bottom and OK. Now this one's been giving me some trouble. I don't know if it's the lab or my mouse or keyboard, but we're going to enter our series using autofill. We've seen how autofill copies already, but this time we're going to see how it fills a series. So it wants us to go and type January into A4. And use our fill handle, which is our little box at the bottom corner. And you see February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Now we're going to fill a range with formatting only using autofill. We want to use autofill for D12 through D19. So this range here, with only the formatting of D11. So we're going to go D11 on down, and we get this box after we're done, and we're going to go formatting only, and we're all set. We're going to indent cell contents now. So A11 through A19. We're going to right click, format cells, alignment. Indent is right under text alignment, and we want to go 1, so we just click the 1 and OK. We're going to move cells by using copy and paste. So move F11 to A17. So in the Windows world, we're going to right click and hit cut and go to A17 and right click and hit paste. You can also use your keyboard shortcuts if you'd like. Now this time we're going to use copy and paste. So we're going to copy the values in number formatting, but not the underlying formulas of G15 through I15. So let's get G15 through I15. And you see our button came up for a quick analysis, but that's not what we want. We want to copy, and we want a particular copy. So instead of doing Control C, which we see here, we're going to hit the down arrow and go copy. And now we want to go to B9 through D9. Now under paste, we're going to hit the down arrow, and we're going to find the one that says values and number formatting. So there's values and number formatting. So it's under paste values, the middle option. We're going to insert a page break now into our sheet. We don't do this quite often, but we want to insert a page break between row 18 and 19. So let's click on row 18. And we're going to go to page layout. And under page layout, we see page setup, we see breaks. We're going to hit the down tick and insert page break. So I have to go page 19. You have to go to 19, cell 19, row 19, sorry. Now we're going to insert a row. We're going to insert a new row above 7. So if we click 7, right click, and insert, we've inserted our row. Insert a column is going to be the same thing. So insert a column left of F, so let's click F, right click, and insert. Now we're going to enter a number containing format symbols, and we're just going to type what they tell us to type here. So in C5, we're going to type 10 and the percent sign. And hit enter. We're going to delete a row now. So we want to delete row 7. We highlight it. We're going to right click and hit delete. Now we're going to create a formula using relative cell references. There's two types of cell references, relative and absolute. Relative, what will happen if we copy something, it'll choose the ascendant value that we're copying. If we use absolute cell references, it'll only copy using the one static cell reference we're looking to use. So we want to enter a formula in B7. So we start with our equal sign. It subtracts B6 from B5. So B5 minus B6. Now we have absolute cell references. Then we'll see how to use it. So we're going to enter a formula into C6 that divides the value in B6 divided by what we appear to be B18, but we want this to be absolute. So we could do this two ways. We could type a $ before the B and to the right of the B, or we just hit our F4 key and we see our formula and we hit enter. We're going to use our if function now. So in F4, we want to use the if function to return this string. So I'm going to choose fx and then if and double click it. Our logical test is E4 is greater than 100,000. And if it's true, we type yes. And if it's false, we type no. And hit OK. I don't know what I did wrong, so we'll try again. Function. If logical test E4 greater than 100,000. Value if true, yes. And the value of false is no. And OK. Maybe I needed the capitalization. Now we're going to insert a spark line. Spark lines are pretty cool in that they show us something graphically on our screen that shows a trend. So we want to insert a spark line in E5 using the data range B5 through D5. go to insert. Now we see all the things we can insert. We see spark lines. So we want a line spark line. And once we click it, we get our data range. And we see it's going to be set at E4. And B5 through D5. And I think this is going to fail because I think I have to use E5. Exactly, I chose the wrong one, so my apologies. So E5, insert, spark lines, line. We have E5 chosen now. We'll choose B5 through D5. And I chose the wrong range to begin with, so I have to pay attention. I'm sorry about that. And there we go. Now this if error function that they're writing here, I've probably never used, but here's what we have to do to complete it. So in C13, we see this NA. We want to use the if error function. So what we're going to do is to the left, to the right of the equal sign, we're going to type if error. Then we're going to open a parenthesis. Now after we see the parenthesis in false, we're going to hit comma. And we want to type invalid job title as the error message. So we use the quotation marks, then type invalid job title. Close the close the quotations, close the parentheses, and we hit enter, and we see invalid job title. We're going to apply some sparkline styles. So we see spark lines, they're all blue here. We want to put a little flare function to them. So we want to change the spark line in E5 to orange. So notice when I click that spark line, I get the spark line menu. So we're going to click it. Under style, we're going to hit the down tick, and we want the second option in the third row. We want to insert markers now. So we're going to apply. So we're just going to really change the color to markers. We're not really inserting markers. It's a little screwy. So E5 through E8. Okay. We're going to add a green marker to the high point and a red marker to the low point. So we're going to click sparkline again. And under marker color, under high point, we want standard color is 6th option. And for the low cut point, we want this second option under standard colors. And we're all set. Using the format painter lets us take all the formatting of a particular cell and copy it to another. So we want to apply the format painter, which is this paintbrush under clipboard. So we want to go to B11 and highlight that cell. That's the formatting we want. We're going to click the paintbrush, and we're going to go B12 to B19, holding our mouse button down while we do it, and we see the format's changed. We want to apply a font variation to a cell. So we're going to go to F4, and we want to put italics. That's over in font, so we have bold, italics, underline. So we want italics. Now we're going to insert a chart. So to do so, we first have to choose a data range, and we're being told to choose A4 through D8. So A4 through D8. And now remember, when we hit insert, we go to insert tab of our ribbon, and now we want a clustered 3D column chart. So sorry, we're going to hit the down arrow. where we see column chart, and we want the 3D custom. Through column. So it's the first option under 3D clustered. Now to move a chart, we simply go into our chart area where we get the solid north, south, east, and west. We click and drag. We're going to move it to where F1 is, and that's how we move a chart. Now we want to change the name of this chart from chart title to sales to date. To do so, we're going to double click in this text area. We highlight over the title and we type sales to date. And now click anywhere inside the chart. We're going to add a chart element, and to do anything with elements, we click inside the chart, and then we get these three little menus here. So we want to add the chart title. So we don't have a title right now, so we want to add that. So let's click this button, and now we go down to chart title. And now we see chart title. We're going to move a chart element now. In the line chart, move the chart legend to the right position. So I'm going to click chart elements, and the legend, I get this arrow, which means I could do more things, so I'm going to click on it, and we want it to the right where it's now at the bottom. We're going to add axis titles to our chart now. We see our chart is just a bunch of data and some bars, and we have a legend. So on the bar chart, add the title dollars to the horizontal axis and the title client name to the vertical axis, and then click to deselect the chart. So we see axis titles. We want the primary horizontal one. Notice we see now in my chart axis title. We double click in there and type dollars. And we click outside. We're going to do the same thing. Axis titles, vertical. Double click. And type client name. And click inside the chart, and we're all set. We're going to change the text direction of an axis title. So we're going to change the text direction of the vertical axis, this one, to horizontal. I'm going to right click in here, and we see format axis title, and we have some things we can do here. So we're going to go alignment, and we want our change the text direction of the vertical axis title to horizontal. And I think I'm in the wrong place. There we are, horizontal text direction. So again, I right click client name, I got this menu, I went to alignment, I went to text direction, and then horizontal, and click inside the chart. Oops, I have to close this first. Sorry about that. We're going to change the number format of a chart axis, so we're going to hit apply. And we want to apply the currency format to our axis. We can right click here and format axis and go to number, and we want to use category currency and close our dialog box. We want to change the units of a chart axis. So on the vertical axis line chart, define 20,000 as the major units and 50,000 as the minor unit. So we're going to right click in here again, and our format axis, and then our axis options come up, and under units, major and minor, we're going to change major to 20,000 and major to, major is 5,000 and minor is 20,000. Come on, give me a break, computer. Have to reset. And I don't know why it's not working for me. That's why I'm reading it wrong again. Sorry, everyone, I'm very sorry. So major is 20,000. I'm getting the way the text is written is messing with my eyes. So major is 20,000 and minor is 5,000. And we can close. Or not. You have to hit enter after you type the numbers in. My apologies. We want to change the horizontal axis label values. So in the clustered chart, define A5 through A8 as the horizontal axis level. So we want these guys. So under chart design, we're going to do select data. So we want to make 1, 2, 3, 4 into Deerfield through San Diego. So select data, and under horizontal axis labels, we're going to click edit, and we're going to select A5 through A8 and hit OK. And then OK again. We're going to change the chart type. So now we have a pie chart. So if we click inside the chart and then right click, we can go to change chart type, and we want a column chart with the first option. We want to delete a chart element now. So we want to delete the legend, so we don't want the legend down here. So we're going to click in our chart, go to chart elements, and then untick legend. We're going to change the bounds now, same places we've seen that other exercise. So let's go to apply. On the vertical axis, we're going to go right click and format axis again, and then in our bounds, remember we did units before, so we're going to read it carefully now. Vertical axis of the line chart, define 20,000 as the minimum and 140,000 as the maximum, and hit enter. We want to change a chart's layout now in task 35. We want to change the layout to layout 2. So we're going to click our chart, and I clicked it twice instead of once. I'm going to go to chart design, and under quick layout, I'm going to hit the down arrow, and we want layout 2. We're going to move a worksheet now. Remember, our worksheet names are down here. So we're being told to move 3-year sales forecast to the end. So we click and drag it, and we see the arrow moving us. And we're done. We're going to zoom a worksheet, and that's through our view part of our ribbon. So we're going to click view, and it wants it at 100%, so we're going to tick to 100%. We're going to change the view of our worksheet to page layout. So we're going to go to view, and we see it's normal now. We want to go to page layout under workbook views, page layout. We want to split our worksheet into panes to make it a little easier to work with. So we want to split this worksheet into 4 panes at B12. So we're going to start at B12, which is right here. So we want to split it. So we go to view, and we have a split button here. We just click it. Now we're being told to freeze columns and rows. That's going to be the same view menu. So we want to freeze column A, rows 1 through 3 in the worksheet. So we're going to go to B3, I believe, and go to view, freeze panes, and freeze panes. I forget what this one was. So that's where we do it. So maybe it's B4. There we go. You click B4, so everything above B4 and to the left of B4 will be frozen. I'll do that one again. This one's remove.
When you no longer need to scroll through multiple
So we're at 40. So we wanted to do column A, rows 1 through 3. So how we do that, we're going to go to B4. So now when I hit that freeze button, when we go to view and freeze, everything above here and to the left of here will be frozen when we scroll the document. So I'm going to hit split here. Not split, it's freeze, Al. Freeze. Then freeze panes. Getting a little tired. Now we're going to remove worksheet panes. So we can go to view and freeze panes. Sorry. And undo split. It's not doing with the panes, it's doing with the split. So I was removing the split of that exercise. So let's go back to that one. So our directions will remove the panes. So we have the 2 panes, so we view, and now we're going to just click undo the split. We're going to unfreeze rows and columns, apply. We're going to go back to view to do this, and under freeze panes we're going to hit the tick and do unfreeze. We're going to use goal-seek to do some manipulation of data, and goal-seek happens to be in data, and it's under this what-if analysis. So we want to use goal-seek to calculate the value of B5 that will result in this here. So I'm going to tick and go to goal-seek. So we want to calculate the change in value of B5. So our changing value is our last option. So we go here and do B5. And we're going to set B20 to 1,000 and OK. And then we verify and hit OK. And our last step is a nested formula. So in F5, we want to use a nested if function to calculate the bonus amount using a logical function arguments d5 and so on. So I'm going to go to f5. I can show you visually, and under functions I'm going to go to if. Our logical test is d5 equals 3. So if it's true, we want to type e5 times 0.1. And if false, we're doing another if statement. So a nesting is 2 or more statements. So this time it's going to be if parentheses d5 equals 2, comma, e5 times 0.05, comma, space 0, close the parentheses, and hit OK. And I don't know why we're being told to do cell content again. A3 through D3. Format cells. Alignment. 45. Okay. I don't know, it's making me do everything over again, but we've seen everything. I hope you found this useful.